He said, imagine coming into a relationship with me in the fear of getting it wrong being eliminated. Something within me began to breathe a little easier. He said, Deanna, what if it isn't about getting it wrong or right? All of your relationships have been funneled through this way of thinking, whether you got it wrong or whether you got it right. He said, think back over your life and analyze this domesticated way of thinking. Being rewarded as a child for good behavior or getting punished if you messed up. Taking a test and passing if you got enough right or failing if you got too many wrong. Being good at relationships so the other person stays, and if you weren't good at relationships, then they leave. Taking a driving test, and if you passed, you got a reward, and if you failed, you couldn't move forward. Taking a step and being vulnerable, and if you communicated it right, it was accepted. But if you couldn't communicate it well, then it was rejected. Being taught in the church to do steps A, B, and C, and if you couldn't do steps A, B, and C in that order, then you had to start all the way over because you got it wrong. Watching others be praised because they got it right when you tried and society told you you got it wrong. He said, you're afraid of being permanently labeled, so you won't try anything new with me. This is the fear of rejection. This fear that has grown within you from people is now being placed on me, but I do not operate in that way. This is what limits us, not you getting it wrong. You spend your life, this precious gift, just waiting to be wrong, waiting to be rejected, waiting to mess up. You expect it, and so now you expect me to tell you that you're wrong. He said everything in life has placed you in this system of reward or failure. You even read the Bible through this lens of getting it right. If I read it this way, then I'll get blessing. If I do these things right, then I'll be chosen. If I say this correctly, then you'll answer my prayers. Okay, so what if I told you that doesn't cross my mind? Would you then come talk to me? Would you then be vulnerable with me because you're not waiting for me to criticize you? Would you hide less because you'd be less shameful of getting it wrong? Would you think it was possible to have a relationship with me because I'm not waiting for you to get it wrong so that I can leave? He said, Deanna, I am the God who stays. If I am not waiting for you to get it right or wrong, then why are you placing this standard on yourself? He said, could you imagine me smiling at you when you look at a situation through a different perspective? In your mind, you're thinking I'm pointing a finger at you saying wrong, but really you just see this situation differently than I do. He said, I get excited because this lays ground for me to teach you how to view the situation through the perspective of my eyes. How could I be mad at you for responding to what you think is true in life? Would you tell someone else they got it wrong because they responded to a situation based on what they knew? So why do you think I do this with you? My heart says, my child, let me show you another way. Let me open your eyes to a new way of thinking. Allow me to increase you in wisdom instead of thinking I got it wrong or I messed up. If hearing this right now makes you breathe easier, imagine what living it would do.